Hello guys, namaste, welcome back to my channel. This is Amisha Singh Chauhan, and if you're looking for something fun, dark and mysterious, then you're at the right place. So do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that every time I'm here, you'll get to know about it. So, I'm pretty much sure I do not have to mention what we are going to talk about today. Like the thumbnail and the title is more than enough. We will be talking about the newly released Netflix documentary series Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. So Netflix released this docuseries on 10th of February 2021, and the internet has literally blew up with Elisa Lam's documentary series. First of all, I would like to say that this is not a review video. I won't be reviewing the documentary series. I will be talking about what Netflix did not tell us about Elisa Lam, or what they missed out on Elisa Lam. So I'm going to tell you all of that stuff. But before I start off with that, I would like to mention one thing about the documentary series. Let's just say in short little words that it was not one of the best docuseries out there on Netflix or any other OTT platforms. It is, in my opinion, again. In this Netflix documentary series, like the first half, especially the first two episodes, I was really bored. But then as I continued watching it, because I really wanted to see that if they had something new, because there's so much information on Elisa Lam's case, and I just really wanted to, watch it till the end. And I was glad. I am glad that I watched the entire documentary series, because I think the fourth episode is amazing. It is very informative. It has a good pace. It won't let you get bored. And if you are someone who is into true crime, who's into documentaries, I suggest that you should watch it. Like, it's up to you. Again, let's get to what they did not tell us about Elisa Lam. So one of the things that they did not mention in the Netflix documentary series was directly linked to the autopsy report, and that is the sand-like particles that were found on her clothing, or in her clothing actually. And we all know that Elisa Lam's body was found naked in the tank on the terrace of the very Cecil Hotel, and her clothes were found in there as well. So when the body as well as the clothing were sent off for forensic investigation and autopsy, the report came out and it said that the clothing had sand-like particles. And it is very strange that when the coroner was talking about the autopsy report and various speculations made on it, so as well the investigators, the LAPD, they did not mention about the sand-like particles. Like, they did not even mention it once in any of the statements, which was very weird for me. Because see, we all know Elisa Lam's case is based on assumptions, based on what we have evidences, which is very rare of him. We don't have a lot of evidence when it comes to Elisa Lam's case. We don't know what really happened. We just have a video clip, that CCTV video clip, and that's all. And rest, whatever the coroner says or the LAPD said or their statements, it's just based on assumptions. We can only assume. And since they were giving out so much details in the documentary series, I think they should have at least mentioned the sand-like particles. I know there are a lot of theories that say that in any case, if she committed suicide or she was murdered, or if there was paranormal activity involved, in any of these cases, she would have to be physically climbing the stairs or the ladder, and that's how she got that sand-like particles on her clothing. But it is strange, like, even if it is so, the coroner or the LAPD should have given out their assumption or their justification, which they did not. That brings me to the second point that is directly linked to the autopsy report. There is a mentioning of pooling of blood at the subcutaneous tissues around the orifice of the anus area. Now, according to experts, this pooling of blood, it usually takes place when there is sexual injury or trauma or any kind of physical injury that has been done to that area. And we all know in the autopsy report, it is mentioned in the documentary series as well, that there is no physical trauma or injury on Elisa Lam's body. So how did this happen? Why is there a pooling of blood? These are the questions. Though there were experts who came out and said that it is likely that sexual trauma or sexual injury can lead to this pooling of blood in the area, but it cannot be said that since there's pooling of blood in that area, there might be a sexual injury or sexual abuse involved. They said that it could be because of the decomposition of the body, that there were gases released in the gastrointestinal part of her body, of her organs, organs, and that gas, it released some sort of pressure which led to the pooling of blood. But my point is that why did they not mention this? Because there were so many questions in my head before watching the documentary series. I was very skeptical. I was still contemplating, was it a suicide or was it a murder or was there supernatural energies involved? But when I completely saw the documentary series, a lot of my answers were clear and I was very satisfied. But there are these questions that comes into my head and I'm like, why did they not mention it? There's another thing that they did not mention about. In the entire documentary series, a lot of narratives and narrations are done directly from her Tumblr posts. Like whatever she wrote, whatever she was talking about, they directly narrated. There was a voiceover. So we very much were familiar with Elisa Lam's Tumblr post in the documentary series, but they did not even talk about the mobile phone. So apparently, LAPD couldn't find Elisa Lam's mobile phone. Now again, the Cecil Hotel, it is very shady. It is located in one of the shadiest part of the entire continent, and there are a lot of homeless people, a lot of criminals out there, a lot of crime activities. So it wouldn't be a tough thing for us to assume or for us to think that her mobile phone could have been stolen. But the fact that it was not even mentioned is very strange. Like, you should have had some sort of justification, some sort of explanation as to where her mobile phone was. So yes, these are some of the things that Netflix did not talk about. Another thing that I want to mention, it's not related to Netflix documentary series. It's the part that when I was doing my research, I came across these articles which said that Elisa Lam made a post on Tumblr which said that she had been raped previously once, and just that. I went through her Tumblr post. Frankly speaking, I don't know much about Tumblr, so I was just scrolling through it. I was trying to find that rape post, but I couldn't find it. Secondly, there was also a report that Elisa Lam had actually ran away from her home previously once before this entire incident. Again, I tried to find it. I went through all the articles as I could, but I couldn't find any evidence. So if you guys know anything about this rape and her running away from her home back once, do comment down it below. I would love to know about it. So now let's just talk about Elisa Lam for a minute. Elisa Lam was born on 30th of April 1991. Her parents were immigrants from Hong Kong and she was first generation Canadian. She was 21 years old when she decided that she wanted to go on a solo trip. The reason was she felt lost. She mentioned that so many times in her Tumblrs that she was depressed. In fact, she was actually diagnosed with depression and bipolar disorder 1. So she was even under medication and treatment. And when the investigation was going on, they found out the dosage of the medications that she was under, which was really high, which indicates that she was severely depressed. So yes, she goes to her parents and she asks for their permission, and they're like, we are not so comfortable of you traveling alone in a strange country. So there's one condition, you'll have to call us every day and then only you can go out on this trip. So she's like, okay, fine, I'll do this. On 26th of January 2013, she reaches LA from San Diego and she checks in the Cecil Hotel. Now, we don't know about the information as to where she was living from between 26th to 28th of January. I tried to find it out. There is literally no information. So if you have that information, if you have any idea, again, comment down it below. So 28th of January, she checks in the hotel. She's living out there. She's going out to places. She's initially placed on the 5th floor in a dorm room where there were other girls living as well. But then they started complaining about her strange behavior, because of which the manager had to shift Elisa Lam on the last day of her stay to another room on the very same floor. Now, what happens is that, like I said, she had to call her parents every day, and the last time the parents received a call from her was 31st of January 2013. They did not get a call on February 1st. So they immediately get very frightened. They are scared. They don't know where their daughter is. They're trying to reach out to her, but they couldn't contact her. So what they do is they report it to LAPD, and LAPD gets immediately into investigation. A team is sent out and they actually check the entire hotel twice. Though I'm saying entire hotel, they couldn't do so because they did not have a probable case. Like, they did not have a proper crime reported or any suspicion as to that, and because of which they did not have a warrant. So they roughly went through the hotel rooms. K9 was also involved, and though the K9 could detect her scent near a window, That was a passage to the fire escape, but the canines could not detect her scent anywhere else, not even on the rooftop, the terrace where her body was in the tank. So yes, they have no clue. LAPD has no hint, they have no clue as to where Elisa Lam is, and they decide that on 15th of February, they are going to release the elevator video. So in this elevator video, it is very viral. I mean, back in the days, there was no such thing as viral videos, and this video got more than 10 million views in a very short period of time. So they were expecting that they might get some hint or some clue as to her disappearance, but it was just a blunder. I mean, there were conspiracy theorists, people like you and me who were sitting behind the phones, laptop screens, and over exaggerating things. Some believe she was getting chased, some believe it was a murder, some believe there was supernatural, paranormal stuffs involved, while others believe that she was having a manic or a psychotic episode. Now let's talk about that. We all know that she was bipolar, she had depression, and she was under high dosage of medication. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it is very important to remember this part. We'll come to it later. So on February 19th, because one of the couples who were living in the hotel, they complained about the water being stinky, it having a very funny smell, taste, and it was looking dark. And one of the hotel employees were sent up to check the tanks for water pressure because it was very weak. And when this employee reached the terrace, he found one of the tanks to be open, and when he looks inside, he saw Elisa Lam's body facing upwards, completely naked. And he immediately went to the manager. The manager, like in the documentary series, she mentioned that she called her mother first. I mean, I get it, like she knew that it was going to be a huge case. It's not just a simple missing and murder case. She calls 911, police comes over there, they take her body. They actually had to cut the tank and then take her body out, as well as her other belongings. That was her clothing and watch and her room key. So now in the autopsy report, which came out much later, like it took 3-4 months, the cause of the death was accidental drowning. People were expecting it to be murder, they were expecting foul play, but it was all ruled out because they couldn't find any fingerprints on her body or on the tanks or the ladders or the steps. They couldn't find anything, and it was clearly a case of mental illness that caused her to death. And her bipolar disorder played a very important role. It was mentioned that it played a very important role in the autopsy report as well. Now, 3 things came very sure. First, she did take her antidepressant that day. Second, she had recently taken another antidepressant and a stabilizer, but not on that day. Thirdly, that she had not taken her antipsychotic medicines in a while. And according to the coroner, according to LAPD, since she was not taking her medications properly, she slipped into a manic or a psychotic episode, which led to her strange behavior and body language in the elevator. Eventually, she just got on the terrace using the fire escape, and like her sister had mentioned a couple of times, that she used to get scared during these episodes where she used to feel threatened, so she would hide under the bed. And in this situation where she was in a strange country, she found the tank her hiding place, and she got inside the tank, and then she realized that the only way to escape out of the tank was the very same entrance that she used. So she tried to get on the surface, but since she was wearing clothes, she took all of these clothes, which led to hypothermia and her death. That's a lot to take in. I mean, yes, this is what I believe as well. I feel like there was no foul play involved. There is no drugs or alcohol involved, because yes, they tested for drugs, various kind of drugs, but they could not find any trace of illegal drugs except the prescribed medications. They did find alcohol in her blood, but it wasn't enough to raise red flags. Also, they went through rape tests on her, but they did not process it. Again, I don't know why they didn't do so. I mean, okay, they had some valid reason. Again, a lot of questions that have been unanswered. But long story short, the thing is that she died because of her mental illness, because of that manic psychotic episode. People like you and me, again, I'm repeating, we sit behind our phones, our laptop and computer screens. We over exaggerate the facts that we have been given. Again, and like it's mentioned in the documentary series, we don't have all the facts. The police have all the facts. And we try to link this. This is our apopheniac tendency. We are trying to make out some meaningful connection between two things that are not related. You know, the zip code, the last bookstore, and all of those things, the TB test that is called Lam Elisa, and all of these things. We're trying to make these theories so that we could kind of compensate the fact that what is the reality is really saddening and is very depressing for us. Before I end today's video, I want to just say out and reach out to you guys that mental illness is not a joke. You don't have to be diagnosed with a mental illness to seek out help. Go and talk to your friends, your family, anyone you feel comfortable with. Go talk to a professional. Do it, but just don't take it lightly. Don't make fun of it, and just take care of yourself. If ever you need help, if you want someone to talk to, come to me. I'm open, to make new friends and talk to new people. I would really like that. But just take care of yourself. I hope that you found this video informative. If you have any suggestions, if you have any feedback, or you want to talk about anything, just comment down below and take care of yourself. Bye bye.